Hello everybody and welcome to Wednesday's Reflexology Wisdom. I am assuming that as soon as you see this picture and as soon as you see this book, you're going to know whose charts we're looking at today. And of course, you were right. It's Laura Norman. Now I have to confess, this was the first reflexology book that I ever had. It was bought for me by my mother-in-law, and I still use it today. I absolutely love it. So I am totally biased. I'm just going to put that one out there as far as impartiality is concerned, because so far I've tried to be very impartial with the foot charts that we have looked at over the history of reflexology. But this is the one that I learnt from. So let's dive into the first. I'm going to call it the overview, because what we have got here, and I absolutely love this, the way that a picture can describe reflexology. It's so simple. You've got the soles of the foot overlaid with the body of a human, and anybody, any client, I still use this with my clients when they say, well, how does reflexology work? And I'll just get this picture out and I'll say, well, this is how I see the feet. Of course, there is a whole lot more to it than just this picture, but it's simplicity in itself, and I love it. And then when we move on to the actual charts, now what I do really like, because I'm dyslexic, is the lack of clutter in this chart. It is so clear to see where things are, the positioning, and also this is what I would really say is probably one of the first really anatomical charts. In other words, things are where they are kind of supposed to be. If we look at the heart, for example, it is central plus further over to the left. Love it. This is the first time that we've actually seen this so far. We have got the adrenals where they really should be. Zone 1. If you think of where the adrenals are, which are superior and on the top medial edge of the kidneys, then this shows exactly where they are. And of course, they are literally almost just either side of the spine, physically in the body, and this is where they're located here. I also noted with this that we've still got the thyroid helper in here, which of course this is from experiential, because the thyroid itself is of course at the base of the neck, kind of between the clavicles, which is anatomically where it is, but we still do have the thyroid helper just here. But also she's denoting this as the bronchioles, in other words, the trachea. We've then, interestingly, and I think this is the only map that shows it, I'm probably going to be proven wrong as I start to dive through my other maps in detail, but she shows the esophagus as a separate reflex to the trachea. Now that's interesting because, of course, we know that anatomically the trachea and the esophagus lie one behind the other, which is not shown on this map. The interesting thing is, though, that in fact, if anything, I would say that this is more anatomically correct, where Laura shows the esophagus to be. So very interesting just here indeed. I would say that this chart here is one that has been often copied, never equaled, if I can be so bold as to say that. There are a whole load of more modern day charts, and you can see even where you've kind of got the squiggles on the colon, even where you've got the kind of little kind of indented up shape of the pancreas, where people have thought, do you know what? Can't better that, so I'm going to use it. And then they've made adaptations to the charts thereafter. Now, the other interesting thing is, I know I keep on coming on to this, and that's because next week we're going to see something completely different. But we have clearly got that the chest long reflex is shown on the sole of the foot, on the plantar aspect of the foot. And if we were to turn over just here, we can then see, let's just put this centrally, we can then see that we are again showing, as it were, the ribs, number 49, and again Laura here is very, very clearly saying that we have got the breast mammary reflex represented where they're shown here on the dorsal aspect of the foot. We're going to look at a chart next week. It's one of the most fun charts that I would say. Again, drawn by somebody so famous, but she puts the breast somewhere completely different. So that's the only reason why I've been harking on about it. We've then got the classic points just here for the bladder. And then the other interesting thing that I'm really, 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 really pleased to see here is by this time we have got the penis and vagina reflex mapped. We aren't being prudish anymore. Absolute clarity as to where it is. And I must admit on the chart that I did, because I used to be a fertility reflexologist before I started teaching, and this is exactly how I have found it to be. And since I've been teaching, particularly for the penis reflex, we have found if you use this point just here, it gives massive, massive help for erectile dysfunction. We've had loads of successful case studies with that. So that's just, Laura, if you're watching this, thank you very much for that one. It's a superb point to work for erectile dysfunction, this just here. Classic points here for the fallopian tubes and for the vas deferens. Interestingly, let me just go back to this. So what we have got here is that we don't have the lymphatics all the way around like some maps do, but what we've got is specific points, 51 and 52. And so we've got 52 is lymphatic groin. So we're basically concentrating on where we have got the lymphatic nodes in the groin here, rather than working all the way round into the crease of the groin, rather. Do apologise. Now then, we have got the ear helper reflex just here. This is the first time we've seen this one. So number 47, so inner ear helper reflex just here. And a lot of people will be thinking, oh, whoa, hang on a second, that's interesting. I would have thought the eye reflex would have been here. Some people also put a sinus pump just here. But Laura denotes this as the inner ear. So if anybody's having problems with ear issues, try this one out. See if it helps. We've also got the vocal cords just here, number 46. Absolutely classically correctly placed right at the top of the trachea as the neck joins the body. So we've got these wonderfully clear reflexes, absolutely superbly and clearly drawn, and I absolutely love these. So if anybody does get hold of this book, Reflexology Handbook, you have got some absolutely fabulous charts in here, and I'd highly recommend them. So guys, that's your Wednesday's Reflexology wisdom. Do stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you next week for something completely different, but absolutely fantastic.